Hey guys, welcome to Namaste Club. This is a special one about the new earth, the new roles that are going to emerge. And a lot of people are asking, and I try to find some stuff online, but I actually found a few things, and I'm going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about the 12 archetypes and roles about that are coming in the new earth and already here, because a lot of people are awakening. So if you are familiar with this term, you feel like you have awakened, you've gone through a spiritual awakening, this is for you. So if you are awakening and you feel an inkling and a calling to follow your true path, to follow and release the old fear, release the old you. It's a huge release that's happening right now. I'm stumbling on my words right now, sorry for that. But the new earth is really about changing and shifting into the more forward 5D and coming into divine love and creating something new for the world. And it's really an exciting time to be alive right now. Many souls have come here and volunteered to come and change the paradigm and help with what's going on and let go of the fear and let go of old separation paradigms and everything that is negative and coming into a higher frequency. Now, before I talk about those roles, and it's really important that you first, no one can really tell you what to do, not even myself. And it's really important that you find your true gift if in this time you try and find your calling and your purpose. And it has to do with your gifts and your talents, and they may not be something you learned. It could be related to, you could use things that you've learned in the university and college, whatever it is, in the job that you're doing. But it's mostly taking everything that you've learned and how do you take that into something that is a gift for the world, for other people, and how can you serve humanity in a grander scale and do good by the people, do good by the world, and really, just enjoy and have fun. I've been watching some stuff online and trying to find materials online, but I had to kind of channel a lot of this myself and kind of bring it down and narrow it down to 12 archetypes. Use your own discernment, take it with whatever discernment you have, whether this pertains to you. I've been watching a lot of stuff by Alex Collier and Dolores Cannon, and a lot of them have mentioned that there will be flying cars, for instance, new transportation, new construction needed to be happened where they take the asphalt, new healing services, we would have to heal ourselves essentially, and there would be a lot of teaching, spiritual teaching needing to be done for a lot of people awakening and coming in to the new earth, to this new shift. So let's dive in, because there's a lot to talk, and I'm going to make more videos about this that have to do with technology, that have to do with music, that have to do with healing, medicine. I'm not a doctor myself, so please, these are just for entertainment purposes and mostly stuff that I have figured out myself. So the first group is going to be the spiritual teachers. If you guys resonate with it, leave a comment. So the spiritual teachers are the ones that are in charge of essentially helping and supporting the ones that are awakening right now. There's a lot of people awakening. I don't like to use the word conspiracy, but it's mostly about talking about the shifts, doing a lot of shadow work. What is shadow work? How do we do it? How do we release the old? How do we release the old baggage? How do we release the fear that we come in? How do we heal ourselves, essentially? They could be influencers online, creators. They could be even tarot readers, channelers, people that do retreats, shamans, people that are essentially here to help and kind of mostly inform about the changes, the shifts, and speak about them. So if you feel like you are a spiritual teacher, or you have some esoteric knowledge, some healing knowledge, or anything that has to do with awakening, essentially, you can get mixed up with healing and spiritual teacher, because I kind of believe they're almost the same thing. But the next group is going to be the healers, which we will talk about. The spiritual teachers have already been here, okay? So all of these, special people that have come here and spoken about these things and essentially have helped and informed of a lot of interesting information coming in from, even from all over the world in the universe, you can say that. So it's really important that they continue to do that. And if you feel like you have a message that you have to bring out from within, from your stomach, it's essential that you listen to that and you pick up a phone and start talking, and just go with what you have to say, as long as it really helps people and comes to the betterment of this new shift happening. The next group is going to be the healers. Now, this group is special because there are two types of healers. I would say there's many types of healers, okay? But for instance, for this video, we're going to categorize them as the ones that are more from the medical side, the typical medical hospital side, and from the ones that are more spiritual healers. So let's talk about the spiritual healers, which could be also spiritual teachers that are mostly here to teach, but the healers are the ones that actually help and are even therapists and have a diploma of some sorts. They can be mentors, coaches, life coaches. They could help with apothecary. They could help with helping doing shadow work, deep analysis, psychology. And then we have the second group, which is more, I would say, helping with all the people awakening. And that could even come into psychiatry, for instance, because many of people that awaken are going through spiritual psychosis and not just general psychosis. There's a difference between the two, or even you would go into mania. And I have a lot of things to say about mental health. I'm going to post that in a separate video. However, you could also talk about those more medical healers that are essentially here to break a lot of paradigms and here to break a lot of these status quo, I would say. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't have a lot of information yet about what exactly that is, but our inner energy is changing. Our inner DNA is changing, the way we think, the way our brain works. So they're here to kind of get into new grounds with medicine and even the environments that we treat people, like creating healing centers, for instance, and not just hospitals. How can we better hospitals? How can we think outside the box? And I take this more from what I know from, I have a design degree, strategy, and how can we actually take those places and redesign them from scratch? How can we actually help people? How can we fight cancer? How can we fight a lot of diseases that are in a lot of, people with disabilities, people that, are struggling right now in the world? There's a lot of darkness. So how do we do that and not just, go the status quo route of creating medicine that is not really helpful, that is just another pill, is not really helping you, surgery. There's so much to say about that. I'm not going to get into the rabbit hole right now because I'm not a doctor and I don't want to confuse you guys, but I want you to think, and what you can take, again, use your discernment, but what you can take is, how do we redesign it into a new world? How do we rethink about it? How do we rethink it? How do we reimagine it? How do we redevelop it into something like bringing more sunlight into hospitals, for instance? Sun is a healing power. It's a natural healing power. Water, cleaning the water. Those are very, very basic things that I have just mentioned, but it can go further into the medical realm. So it's important, if you come from this field, to think about it a little bit more from where you are in your field. I can say a lot about mental health, like I mentioned before. I believe there will be shifts in the way people are treated in those places. I believe there will be shifts in how we get treatment, okay, and how things will change, and how do they affect the body as well. And essentially the main goal is to heal from a more natural perspective, a more natural place that respects essentially the body and comes back into nature. The third group is a more hands-on group that is more tactical, is more tangible, is more 3D, I would say. But they're still important, because 3D is still important, even if you're shifting, things that you can touch, feel, and hold with your own bare hands are important. And we're talking here about construction builders, the construction builders that will help with new homes, new buildings. How do we actually create something that is more sustainable? Sustainability here has a lot to do. And it comes to the nature and environment that we're in, the asphalt. Why did you ever think, after I heard this Alex Collier video, I watched it, and the thing about asphalt, if you just, I haven't even thought about it, because it's so like status quo. It's so like, oh my God, yes, we need cars. We need asphalt for cars. But then all the trees are marginalized, to the side of the asphalt, where I believe in the future we're going to have less and less asphalt as we have more EVs, we have more electricity that is more sustainable, and we would have flying cars, which is not just a dream. I'm still not sure where that is right now. That's not really my forte. But if you come from this field, leave us a comment, and let us know, because we want to learn more from you. So I believe that there will be people that are doing stuff from a more sustainable place. They're construction builders, they're building, they're designing, they're architects, to do with buildings, homes, and essentially smart cities. How do we actually get into smart cities that will be more everlasting and more better for the environment, for us, essentially, for us humans? So leave a comment below, let us know where you are with this. Now, the fourth one is artists. So we need artists, and we always needed artists. I mean, there is no soul to earth without art, right? We will have more and more artists in the new earth, and they will get paid handsomely, I would say. They have been marginalized for far too long, and there has been actually periods and times in history where they would get far ahead. I think maybe in the Roman Empire or Greek Empire, Renaissance. So I'm still working on my history. However, what's important is that there will be more musicians, there will be more people doing art, doing new kinds of making art that has to do with bringing people together, with creating art from a different frequency, from a frequency of love that is higher frequency than lower vibrational negative forms of types of art. Now, I'm not saying there's bad kinds of art or good or better types of art, but I'm just talking about the frequency and the energy that you bring in. For instance, if you talk about music, speaking and singing and bringing in higher, like different kinds of melodies and different kinds of notes and different kinds of words. Now, words have a lot of power, right? The spoken word. So if you speak more about love, connection, harmony, the sun, the moon, all of these higher vibrational words, and no wonder there's a huge nostalgia happening to the 90s, to the 80s, to the early 2000s. Why? Because the music there was a little bit, for my taste, and again, leave a comment below if you disagree. They had a higher vibrational pop frequency of music. Backstreet Boys, for instance, Britney Spears is perfect, because these are the types, and I'm not saying that's the only type of music. There's a lot of different kinds of music out there. So I'm just giving you an example. Now, I want to talk more about these artists, because I believe that there will be, and this ties into the next group. Again, everything is connected here. But there will be more platforms that will bring art to the center, where people are left with no jobs, so they have to resort. All the productivity jobs are been taken by AI, and this is a separate video I will do about the AI and New Earth. And imagine you live in a very nice environment where you could actually bring your gifts to life, and people that don't even know music. I'm taking music as an example because I'm a musician, so it's coming close to home. However, you could do design, you could do graphic design, you could do art, you can do different kinds of things. You could do jewelry, you could do fashion. Okay, fashion is a whole other thing that's going to change. How do we create sustainable fashion? How do we create more light into our fashion? How do we bridge between worlds with fashion, and create innovative fashion? And all of this stuff is going to happen. Now, there will be more people that are those people that are going to create those platforms for these artists to emerge, just like the old times, but it's going to be different. It's going to be something completely new, where we have more stages, we have more places, and people are going to go out. Live experiences are going to reemerge again, and people are going to come in together. If we take this route and we actually kind of go through this route through live experiences that are going to emerge again, and therefore fashion is going to be important because people are out and about more, so they're seeing each other again, instead of staying at home and ordering everything online and then going out to a restaurant or something with the only friends they know all their life. So connection is going to be a huge thing. So I'm going to talk about those things. Again, everything is connected. That's why it's kind of dripping in from different categories. But leave a comment below if you are an artist and you feel like your work hasn't been seen yet, and you feel like there should be just another way. There has to be another way besides just YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, for putting your work out there. There has to be another way. So leave a comment.